In this video, I'm going to be explaining to you exactly how I made £255,000 last year just selling products on Amazon. I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can scale and outsource your own Amazon FBA online business just doing arbitrage in 2025. I would say that Amazon FBA is honestly one of the best online business models out there. I was able to spend 111 days out of last year traveling outside of the UK, and this was also while my business was making me over £20,000 in profit every single month. And what's even crazier is that most of these trips were completely funded through Amex points and top cashback rewards that I received for the purchases of all the profitable inventory that I then sold on Amazon. So I wasn't even having to pay for any of these trips. This lifestyle is available to you as an Amazon FBA seller if you can master the business model as well as I have and successfully outsource the repetitive, low ROI tasks involved in the business as you scale your profits. Crazy profit, minimal workload, and lots of traveling. It's all possible with Amazon FBA. Now make sure you watch right to the end because that is where I'm going to recap my 2024 results as well as my objectives and my plan for 2025. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So firstly, let's go right back to the start with my Amazon FBA business. So my first 6 months of from when I first started the business, it kind of looked a lot like just piles and piles of boxes, endless sourcing, endless admin, just going full throttle. I was working as many hours as I possibly could every day and pretty much dreaming about Amazon every night. I was completely obsessed with it. I mean, I still am now, to be honest, but I was getting completely stuck into it and just kind of immersing myself in both the community aspect of FBA, kind of chatting to other sellers, as well as just, sourcing and selling on Amazon itself. So obviously Amazon is really, really complicated. I think it's a lot more complicated than a lot of people think. And when I got started with it, it was kind of a shock at first. There was a lot to kind of take on board. There was definitely a very steep learning curve, but with just time and commitment and practice, problems just tend to solve themselves with enough dedication. And with enough practice with sourcing and prepping and the admin, I slowly got the hang of things. And definitely a big part of that is just kind of chatting to other sellers, just being completely obsessed with Amazon. I really can't stress it enough. You just have to make Amazon your #1 priority, at least for the first 6 months. And then once you start outsourcing it, you can then think about kind of maybe taking a little bit of a step back. But I think within those first 6 months, they're so crucial. If you're just gonna half-ass it and not really pay too much attention, quite frankly, you're probably just not cut out for Amazon. Now, thankfully, there are plenty of ways to outsource all of these tasks when you have your Amazon FBA business up and running. So I've outsourced pretty much every step of the way. I've outsourced the admin side of things, so that's just keeping up with spreadsheets, making sure your items get delivered, opening claims with Amazon whenever they've lost or damaged your stock, all the little small things that most people might overlook when they think about starting a business like this. All these tasks really do add up in time, so it's great to be able to outsource them for a couple £100 a month to someone else, and then you can focus your time on sourcing. Speaking of sourcing, I've also outsourced that, so I've got 2 staff in the Philippines that are working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 to source me profitable products. Usually on an average month, they're able to source me upwards of £100,000 worth of profitable products, which is just absolutely crazy. This is all from just teaching them my own secret sourcing methods. They probably wouldn't be able to do this with just the basic training they received from the agency I hired them through. And then there is also the matter of prep. So prep is referring to just where you're labeling up products and stuff like that. Thankfully, there are loads of prep centers. Prep centers are basically just a warehouse owned by someone else. You send all your products there, you tell them what you need done to them, what SKUs to send them under, what ASINs to send under, and they will just receive your products for you. They'll label them up, they'll pack them all in a box, and they'll send them off to Amazon, where Amazon will then deal with the fulfillment directly to your customers, the customer service, all of that sort of stuff. So from my own experience and kind of the pathway that I went with how I kind of outsource stuff, I first outsourced prep. I did this fairly early on because I currently still do live in the flat, taking all of these parcels up to the top floor, packaging them up, labeling them, taking them downstairs, taking them to a UPS drop-off point. All this stuff was super time consuming. I just didn't really have the time for it, really, let alone dealing with actually receiving parcels, being at home ready to kind of receive stuff from the postman or whatever. It was just a pain. Pretty early on, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months into it, I outsourced to a prep center. A good friend of mine actually owns a prep center called All Things Prep. Definitely recommend those guys. I would say probably your best bet is to outsource prep first of all, because it's just so time consuming, and that way you can just kind of get all that out of the way and spend the most of your time just sourcing products. The second thing I outsourced was the sourcing itself. So I hired a VA about 4 months into my journey, I think it was. Of course, I was still sourcing most of the products myself. I think at the start, I mean, for the first like 6 months of having that VA, she was sourcing probably like 10 to 20% of my purchases, and I was sourcing all of the rest of the stuff. I'd say it definitely should be like that when you're first starting Amazon, because it is absolutely essential that you get amazing at sourcing. Not just like a little basic level knowledge, you want to get so good at sourcing that you can kind of beat every other seller in this game. And that is what I've managed to do. And that definitely wouldn't be possible if I just outsourced to it a VA and then just gave up sourcing and was like, okay, it's fine, I've got a VA now, I don't need to work, because that's just not the case. You need to be perfectly homing your craft and kind of perfecting those skills so that you can pass it on to the VA. And then yeah, probably about 9 months into my journey was when I outsourced the admin part side of things. So first I just hired someone part-time. Nowadays I actually have 2 admin VAs because I just have so much stuff to deal with. They deal with absolutely everything. I honestly couldn't run the business without my staff nowadays. That's kind of my pathway for outsourcing. I would recommend prep, sourcing, and then admin. Just kind of try and deal with as much of stuff as possible at the first points. You know, you want to keep your costs as low as possible, but yeah, there's no shame in outsourcing stuff to free up some time for yourself. So yeah, I mean, that was how it started and how I kind of got into the game. But as for how things are going now, things are running silky smooth. I really don't have that much work to do on the Amazon business itself. I spend a lot of time just having calls with mentorship clients and just doing other little side projects. For the most part, my Amazon business kind of, and the day-to-day tasks that I kind of have to do is just kind of checking my deal sheet. So I've got my 2 staff in the Philippines that are constantly finding me products. I'll just be checking the sheet 5 days a week and kind of, you know, purchasing everything that's good and then rejecting anything that I don't really think is a good purchase. Also giving them feedback on every single deal, whether I purchased it or not, and kind of telling them, giving them like little prompts and hints towards, you know, just being a better sourcer. I also like to dive into the data, you know, look at all my sales reports, just have a look at what's selling well, what's not, try and find, you know, patterns and work out why or why not something's actually selling well. I also just generally oversee the admin of things, you know, check in with the prep center, check in with my admin VA, just make sure everything's running smoothly and there's, you know, nothing I can't like help them with, or, you know, just generally make their jobs easier. If there's anything I can do to make their jobs quicker and a smoother process, I'm more than happy to do that. But yeah, for the most part, you know, now I've outsourced the majority of the work. It's pretty relaxing. I do find some days I'm like, well, what do I do today? Because I don't have another job outside of Amazon. This is my main thing. In a way, isn't that what everyone wants, really? Just true freedom, the freedom to just kind of, you know, disappear for a week and come back and you've still made loads of money. And if you're hearing that and you're thinking, that is the life I want to live, you know, I wish my Amazon business was doing that well, or maybe you've not even started yet, all it takes is just, you know, time and commitment, really. You know, I've been doing this for years. I've been in e-commerce like all my life. It's just a case of getting up, doing it, putting in the work, you know, slowly outsourcing those systems as you get really confident with it, not rushing into things too quick. And yeah, just staying committed, you know. Most people just try something like Amazon and they give up fairly quickly. So if you can commit and kind of make it work over a long period of time, you're already doing better than most. Alright then, so yeah, let's talk a little bit about my 2024. So 2024 was a major year for me in, you know, so many different ways, personally and also just for the business. So I started 2024 and I was making about 15k per month off my Amazon business, which, you know, don't get me wrong, is really good and better than most are doing even now. Just wanted more, you know, I still do want more. Obviously, I'm always pushing for higher and higher numbers, but I also definitely wanted to have a lot more freedom for travel and just kind of see the world, really, and enjoy the money I was making, to be honest. I mean, I'm a young guy and I'm not getting any younger, so I thought, you know, let's go see the world. At this point as well, I was spending a huge amount of money on my Amex card each month, so I was racking up Amex points like they were nothing. So, you know, I'd been on a few little holidays. I'd been, I think I went to Poland in the winter of 2023 to 24. I went to Amsterdam, I went to like a bunch of other places, but Spain is where I went in, I think it was April. And that's where I realized that this business could be run from pretty much anywhere in the world. It was a real turning point for me. And more of like a proof of concept, I guess you could say. Up until this point, I'd literally never been out of the country for more than like 5 days or a week at a time. And I'd always come back and I'd come back and there was loads of work to do. I didn't feel like at the time that I could just go on some really long holiday or just potentially even live abroad for a little bit, because I had too much stuff going on that I had to kind of sort in person. But around that sort of time was when I'd outsource prep, I'd outsource the sourcing, I'd outsource the admin. Like every part of the business at that point was kind of being dealt with by other people, and it had been for a while, so it's kind of tried and tested. I wasn't scared of kind of leaving the country and everything going wrong. So I decided to go to Spain for 3 weeks and just kind of work from there. Obviously I was, enjoying myself as you would on a holiday, but it was also, I wanted to work there and just kind of run the business and still take calls from people and etc. Do all that stuff that I needed to do, but just see how it works from abroad. And yeah, it went brilliantly. It went astoundingly well. I'll get my editor to put up a little screenshot of my results here for what I did in profit on Spain. I actually have no idea off the top of my head, but it was a really, really decent profit. Definitely made more than I spent on the holiday. In fact, I think the holiday was pretty much all covered by top cashback and Amex points, so didn't even spend any money. Got to see a beautiful country for several weeks, go bask in the sun whilst the UK was all rainy, so 10 out of 10 experience. And just being able to run the whole business from abroad and come back and not have a million and one things to deal with was just an amazing feeling. So yeah, I came back from Spain, had a little break, was just kind of chilling in England for a while, and then I opted to go to Thailand, and I was there for about 3 months in total. So I went to Thailand and I went to Bali along the way as well. And this was crazy. I mean, my business was hitting absolute record profit months, all whilst I was abroad in a foreign country, in honestly the best place I've ever been in the entire world. And I still stand by that, even though I'm here back in England now. I am dying to get back to Thailand, to be honest. But yeah, being able to stay in like 5-star luxury hotels in Thailand, all for free, all with the Amex points, whilst also making the most money I'd ever made in my entire life, all from my laptop, whilst most of the work was actually being done for me. It was just mind-blowing, to be honest. I mean, there were weeks in Thailand where I literally worked like less than an hour per day, and I'd be raking in at least like 5k profit in a week. Like, it was absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I mean, it's just honestly life-changing. I feel absolutely so blessed to be in this position. It's really, yeah, it's mind-blowing. So yeah, then I came back from Thailand in September. Mid-September I got back in the UK. It was nice, to be fair. It was nice being somewhere a little bit cooler. The heat in Thailand is a bit crazy, and I don't know if I'm quite built for that long term. Got back in September, just straight back to grinding, because I definitely got a little bit lax on the work in Thailand, because I mean, everything was outsourced, but I still have to do some stuff. I still have to buy the deals, and so if you're not even looking at the deal sheet and not buying anything, then it starts to become a bit of a problem. But yeah, hit the ground running as soon as I got back, and in October I had the most profitable month ever. Still is my most profitable month ever. I haven't quite hit those levels yet, but I did £50,000 in profit in one single month, which is absolutely mind-blowing, because I never even thought that was possible with arbitrage. I always thought there was some sort of ceiling at about 20k. I just didn't think it was really possible to do more than that, but yeah, sure enough it was. The same month as well, my record-breaking mentee student, Sam, he also did 62k profit. So yeah, I don't know what it was in October, but clearly everyone was wanting to buy some stuff from Amazon. It was absolutely brilliant. Then by November, I was bored of the country again. I decided to spend pretty much all of November just traveling. I went to New York. I went to fly out to WOP HQ. So that's a brilliant company that I work with on the mentorship side of Amazon. They flew me out, saw the HQ, met loads of like-minded people, so that was just amazing. Shout out WOP. And then like 2 days after I got back, I went to Berlin for a few days with a bunch of friends of mine and my girlfriend, which was just brilliant time. And then I got back from Berlin, it was back in the UK for about a week, and then went off to Amsterdam for, I think went for 5 days, just kind of saw the sights. It was my second time going to Amsterdam that year and third time in total over the past, like, I think I went once in 2024. Beautiful, beautiful city. Definitely recommend it if you haven't been. And then a few days after I got back from Amsterdam, I was off to Paris. It was my girlfriend's birthday, so I thought we'd go and celebrate it there. We've been to Paris once before, but we only stayed for like a couple days, so I thought we could go back, go for a bit longer. I saw all the sights, saw the Eiffel Tower again, I guess. Went all the way to the top. And I went to the Paris Sewer Museum, which I would definitely recommend if you're interested in infrastructure and sewers. My girlfriend wasn't as enthusiastic as I was about it, but yeah, I definitely recommend. Probably the best thing I saw on that holiday. But yeah, onwards to 2025. I'd say my general objectives is I want to do at least 300k profit this year. Now you might be thinking, damn Felix, you made 50k last year, how you only go for 300k this year? It's not much of an increase, especially when I tend to try and aim for doubling my profit each year. But I have actually pulled out a bunch of money from the company to buy a house, which is amazing. Obviously, that's kind of what everyone dreams of, being able to buy a house, and I'm buying it in cash, no mortgage. But obviously, because I'm pulling out that money from the company to go towards this house purchase, it means I have a little bit less money to work with to buy stock. And definitely with Amazon, capital is king. You know, the more stock you can buy, the more stock you can sell. So I'm expecting a little bit of a decrease. I'm definitely working on upping my ROI as much as possible to maintain that profit of like 20 to 25k a month, and so far I am doing all right with that. I think January closed on just under 27k profit in a month, so I don't know, maybe my target's too low. I guess only time will tell. What I do know though is I definitely want to be doing at least 150k profit in quarter 4. I definitely think that's easily achievable. I would have definitely hit 100k profit in quarter 4 last year, which was my target for last year, but I fell a little bit short of that. I think only by like a few grand or something. But I think that's mainly just because that was around the same time I started pulling money out of the company, so I literally stopped purchasing items for like a whole month, which was just really bad timing on my part, to be honest. I mean, spending all of November not buying anything when that is like the best month of the year to be buying stock and selling it on Amazon. Not the best timing, but you know, oh well. I do need a house, I do need a place to stay, so obviously that's kind of an essential thing. So that was my 2024 recap of making £255,000 working, you know, less than 2 hours per day while selling products on Amazon. So yeah, hopefully I've given you a little bit of advice on how you can kind of scale and outsource your own Amazon FBA business, which hopefully has been a little bit helpful to you. You can go down to the description now and click the top link if you are interested in joining my mentorship program, which is designed to help you source profitable products and scale your Amazon FBA business. Now, I offer a 6-month mentorship program, which consists of a 6-hour video course, one-to-one calls with me, weekly group coaching sessions, and you'll also get access to exclusive product leads sourced by myself and my sourcing team. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe for more Amazon FBA content from me. Make sure you also go and check out the interview that I did with Jack, who is the owner of Chaos, which is a wonderful piece of software that has made me over £30,000 in profit completely automatically over the past couple of years.